Good morning, everyone. We are here this morning to talk about Zoom. I'm going to try to do my best to show you some different features of Zoom. We're going to do a lot of talking about things that you might want to be aware of. And then I'm also going to show you the Zoom resources. Zoom has some very good resources set up. We're going to talk first, though, about the housekeeping items related to getting your own Zoom account, and then setting up meetings and configuring your pages. Please email online@neosho.edu to say, I would like a pro account. And the process, what happens when I create your account is that you get an email and it asks you to click a link to create your account. So your username is your Neosho email, and you can make your password whatever you would like it to be. If you want online campus help setting up your meetings and configuring those pages on My Neosho, we're asking that you use as a temporary password your last name 2020. And the last name would have to be capitalized because that's part of the protocol for Zoom. They require one capital, one lowercase, and a digit. Once you've set up that password and created that account in Zoom, Zoom will send you an authentication or a validation email. So they want to make sure that the person creating that account is the person that can access that email. So they will send you, and you likely have encountered this with many other softwares, but they'll send you an email that says authenticate or validate. Once that is done, you can email then online and ask us to help with the meetings and the page. If you want to tackle Zoom, set up your meetings yourself, we're going to talk about that process in the meeting today. And then we're also going to talk about how to configure your pages. But again, we don't want you to feel uncomfortable doing that. So Maggie and I are here to help you get that set up. We would just have to have access to your Zoom account for a short period of time. And of course, you all know you cannot email password information. It's a violation of Neosho's computer use policy. So please don't put your passwords in email. Just use a generic, like I set it up, capital L, I did what you asked, or something to that effect. Those of you, and I'm assuming many of you are on this call today because you're interested, you're thinking about doing the synchronous classes, or you're interested in learning more about that. It will be a two-step process to make those pages work. It's really a three-step process. Step one is done for you. Maggie and I put the page in your classes. Maggie did most of that. Step two is getting your Zoom account and creating the recurring meeting in Zoom. Step three is actually configuring that page to work. And basically what that means is taking your URL, the hyperlink, and plugging it into the settings. But yes, there is a document that we're going to talk about that shows how to do that. But those two last steps are also the steps that Maggie and I will do for you if you would like. Okay. So let's jump into that. So the nice thing about Zoom is you can share your screen. And when you share your screen, the Zoom interface doesn't show. However, when you are trying to train on Zoom, that is not a nice feature because I can't share my screen and show you what I'm trying to explain. So I've gone a little low tech with this. But yesterday in meetings, hopefully you can see a Word document. I tried to take some screenshots yesterday and plop them into this Word document so that we can talk through some of this. We do need to talk a little bit about those of you who might be attending on a mobile device, and some of your students might attend on a mobile device, or those of you attending through your computer. Clearly, those of you on your computer are going to have a better view of what I'm sharing. If you're on your phone, might not be so pretty. So I apologize for that. But the important thing is to try to help you get more familiar with what it means to host a Zoom account and knowing where some of your settings are. Okay, so what I have on the screen at the moment, when you are hosting, across the bottom of your screen, you will have certain controls. I do have some enlarged images of these. The audio and video controls are at the bottom left, and you likely can follow along on your Zoom screen and see some of this now as well. In the middle, there are all sorts of important things to be aware of, and we're going to talk about those. And then at the right is the link where you can end the meeting. When you click that, if you're the host, you get a prompt. Do you just want to leave, or do you want to kick everyone out of the meeting? So those are the important items across the bottom of the screen. By the way, depending on your settings, this might appear as a floating menu. Especially when you start screen sharing, you will get a floating menu somewhere on your monitor that has these controls in it. So chat is in the middle of the screen, and you likely can do this also. I am able to put my chat in a separate window, which helps me monitor it while I'm presenting, because it will trip my peripheral vision that there's a new message there. I also like to do the participants. In a hurry, this is very easy to get to. So I will open the chat and the participants in a brand new window. The host has the ability, this might be the most important part for you. The host has the ability to mute the participants. So I'm sure you've been on a call and someone is unaware that they've accidentally unmuted and there's some background noise. So the host can come in, you can click the icon, or you can come over under the actual person and click the more. There's a little pop-up menu that shows, so there are other settings that you can do. So you have the option to stop someone's video. Obviously, students are students. Some of them are not yet 25, and don't we know that research shows our brains are not fully formed until we're 25? So they may choose to do something, they may make not the best decisions. So you might need to turn off someone's video. You can also make someone a host, or you can allow someone else to record. Personally, I just try to do the recordings myself. And that way I have control over that. I can go in and I can, cut things out if I need to, or I can get to a certain part that I need to send to someone. You also, and we're going to talk a little bit more about this closed captioning, because if we're intending to have classes, we may want to investigate closed captioning a little bit more. You also can rename someone. So if their name is not appropriate, or it doesn't have a description enough for you to know who that person is, you could do that. You can also remove them from the meeting. So as the host, using the participants menu, you have all of these options per person, but you'll notice at the bottom, you can also mute everyone or unmute everyone. And I did not take a screenshot of it, but when you mute everyone, you then have the option to allow the participants to unmute themselves.
How does the little boxes look? The reason I'm asking is we're looking to test on Zoom, and if their faces are small, we can't monitor their cheating, I guess.
I can see all of your faces at the 25 clearly. Sarah, can you see the 50 clearly?
I can see faces clearly, yes. I can't see, like, if they're looking at a cell phone or if they're looking at a tablet or something else. I can see faces. I took a screenshot if you want to see it.
Okay. Yes. Let me stop sharing and you can share.
So that's what mine looks like.
I would say that's...
Becky had a question. Jackie still has a question.
Okay, Jackie?
Yeah, back on the participants,
Yes.
have you guys ever used the raise your hand portion of it? If you click on participants, there's a button that says raise your hand. I know
Yes.
we never have, and I just didn't know if that's something we can do with our students.
Yes. So actually, I have used that. We don't use it very much here. But if you raise your hand, I believe it's going to show me. Again, I apologize. This is not a great, I think I shared the wrong monitor.
I see it in the chat.
You see it in the
It's a
chat as
little
well.
hand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So I see it in my participants. So yes, again, out of the corner of my eye, I can see when there is a hand raised in the chat. So those of you that have large classes, you could, will find that setting for 50 on a screen. But if you want to, you could have your students raise their hand electronically as well.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. So the image above is, I just want to show you when I present, this is my setup. This is a picture I took, sorry, Sarah. I took this in a meeting yesterday. Sarah was talking. So I was in the active participant, make whoever's speaking live and large on the monitor. The right-hand side is my gallery view for this particular meeting. So one of the things that I like about having dual monitors, and I do have 3 monitors here, but many of you have 2 monitors. When you select that setting, and I will show you where that is, you then have that ability to have what's being shared on one monitor and all your participants on another monitor. And then you can see on my 3rd monitor, I do have my chat and my participants open. So using multiple monitors allows me, I feel, to have a better grasp of what's going on in the meeting. If you are using single monitor, then it's just going to overlay. So at home, I only have 1 monitor. So I have what's being shared on the 1 monitor, and then I'm able to resize the gallery to show on the right-hand side, but you'll have to scroll up or down. You can make it 2 images wide if you need to. Alan's question, can I make one person large? Can I pin them? You can do that under more. Do you all see a pinned? I don't even know who I pinned. Oh, I pinned Alex. So can you see Alex? That is sorry, Alex, I just randomly selected someone. Actually, you're right underneath Alan, and I was trying to get Alan. So you can do that. I'm going to go back to sharing and show you that. It is called Spotlight Video. So again, on your participants, when you hover over someone and do more, you can spotlight video them.
Marie, normally when there's a small view of someone, you can hover your mouse over the right-hand corner, upper right-hand corner of that person and pin that video without having to go through the participant menu to pin it, if you want to do that.
So if I come in right here, Kevin was speaking, maybe I wanted to make Kevin's image a little bit larger. So you'll see when you're the host, again, you can mute or unmute, and then you have the 3 dots. When you click on them, you get that same menu that you get in participants. So especially if you are working on 1 monitor, that might be easier for you. Anyone else?
I'd like to chime in real quick. It's great if you have 2 devices and you want to show a piece of paper or something, or you want to show a board or something. I log in with my computer, and I also log in on my phone, and I use my phone to highlight a piece of paper or something, and that way I don't have to toggle back and forth between sharing screen and not sharing screen.
Great. This is an image that I took. Sorry. Can you see the image? I just had to email this to myself, but this is what my computer at home, this was our emergency executive meeting. You can see me taking the picture of the screen, but that's how I have it on one monitor with the gallery, and then I could still see what was being shared on the screen. So closed captioning. So Maggie and I met this morning. Paul came early to the meeting and he got to help us. Thank you, Paul. For those of you on the call, we are working on a way to make this automatic, but at this point we haven't figured that out. If you will, across the bottom of your screen or wherever your menus are, you should see the CC icon. Well, I didn't get it in that screenshot. It's the CC box and it says closed captioning. And it should be, well, I think I have an image of it way up here at the top. Closed captioning with the CC box. If you turn that on, you should be able to see what Maggie is typing.
Marie, are you asking the participants to look for that?
Yes, if you want to see how the closed captioning works, you'll need to find closed captioning, that CC icon, and you should be able to select to either see the subtitles, which will come across the bottom of your screen, or to see the full transcript. Are you able to find that, first of all? Is anybody able to find that?
It's popping up, Marie. And then I had a question. So it's not doing it automatically? Like somebody's literally having to type what you're saying?
It is not doing it automatically yet, Andrew. Maggie is assigned to be the transcriptionist right now, and so she is typing.
When you first mentioned this, Marie, I didn't see closed captioning at the bottom menu. Did you do something to make it appear?
I think it might have been that I had to stop my share and turn it back on, Steve. It was working flawlessly in our test this morning, but maybe you have to turn that on and then start your screen share.
Marie, I think as the host, you have to turn it on first before your participants will see the CC.
Okay, so again, this is new to us. We haven't messed with the closed captioning much prior to this session, but it did work when I stopped my share and then set it up and then started my share. I am now seeing the subtitles, and I also have the transcript in a separate window. So I am seeing the live action on the transcript as well. So again, I'm going to find this image. This was the three of us prior to the meeting. This is my transcript. I don't know if you can see that pane very clearly, but this is a bigger image of it. So yes, I know this is not ideal. But some of you are in a situation where you have a student on accommodations, and we likely are paying another student in your class to be a note taker. I don't know. I haven't talked with Carrie Coombs yet. We might continue and perhaps have that student be assigned for transcriptioning. Maggie and I are working on an integration, perhaps with Otter, perhaps with a different transcriptionist service and Zoom, to try to get that set up so it would be automatic. My inclination is that a student who is in your class and having to type is likely missing part of what is being said. But Maggie, tell me about your experience typing. Are you feeling like all you're doing is typing, or are you able to process?
Well, I stopped because I clearly don't transcribe well. But it's not too hard. I wish you could. No, I don't have a picture of what it looks like on my end. On my end, for like the closed caption box, which just went away.
Yes, it went away. I'm sorry, because I took it away from you and gave it to Kevin because I was going to have other people experience it.
Yeah, it's really easy. It's just like a little chat box, and you get to see everything after you type it. It's just.
So Kevin, you should be having a prompt somewhere asking you if you want to accept the responsibility of closed captioning.
Yes, I see it.
So you can accept that and start typing. And if anybody else wants to experience it, I can change it over to you during the session. But again, my inclination is we would want someone else. If we can't get the integration to work flawlessly with Otter or another transcription service, we would want someone else in your class to do the transcription rather than a student. And I see Dr. Rob's shaking her head yes, so I think she agrees with that. But I do think it's great that we have this transcription, this closed captioning at this rate. If we can't get the other to work, at least we have this. And you can save the entire transcript. So there is if I scroll down on the screen, you can see the button to save transcript. So at the end of the class, you could save that. I haven't worked with the transcript much, so I do not know if there's a way to set that to automatically save like there is with the chat, but that's something we'll continue to investigate for you. Amy.
Does, and this is just out of the blue, does Camtasia or the video over voice thing have transcription?
Yes, actually, that is one option. You could record your class session and then you could play it back in Camtasia and have Camtasia do closed captioning for you. We will be talking about that at the Camtasia session. Of course, it's going to have the delay. If you have a 45-minute class, you're going to have at least another 45 minutes playing it through Camtasia and recording with transcription. And Kevin has done that. I think he actually had a semester where he had a student worker who then went through and watched all of his videos and fixed the transcription in the places that needed to be fixed. Amy?
So if you did Zoom and recorded your Zoom, like a class or whatever, and then could you play your recording in Camtasia to where they could automatically do the transcription?
Yes.
And then we could put that on, a link, and then people could then we don't have to really worry about typing everything out.
Yes, but it's also possible that we can get a service to do the transcription the first time around while you're in Zoom. And so I think that would be the best if we can make that happen. Okay, what other questions? Melissa, is it something you can type before you start Zooming? I'm not sure I understand your question. If you have a transcript of what you're going to talk about, then there likely isn't a need to do the transcription during your class. Most people don't have a full transcript. We have more of an outline, or we have, points on paper. I don't know. I think that's how most of us work. You tell me, do most of you have a full transcript of what you're going to say? Maybe some of you do.
No, what I was thinking about was like if, I guess kind of like how you make your PowerPoint and you have your notes on the bottom. And I didn't know if it was like something that if you had your notes already, like you could upload your transcription and it would come across. But I don't know that that would really be beneficial either, because you want it more in real time versus, you could have them read it if you could just send it to them.
Right. I don't believe that you can upload your transcript and have it play out. So I don't think that is an option, but certainly if you do have lecture notes of some sort, you can always share those with students prior to class. I know that's a whole different topic, and some of you may like that idea and some of you may not, but it is an option. Okay. Yes, Sally, we are going to get to screen sharing. And Rex, there will be a process to take your class session and get it into My Neosho. It is not going to be automatic. So we will have to work through that as well. Okay, I am cognizant that we have 20 minutes. We have 20 minutes remaining. We haven't talked about meeting settings yet. We haven't talked about how to set up those Zoom. Does Zoom allow you to look at Outlook calendars to set up a meeting that is good for all? Amy, I would be looking at Outlook, and then also once you know that time, I would schedule the meeting in Zoom. That's how I handle that personally. Okay, I think that I haven't talked about breakout rooms. And so we are all going to experience breakout rooms quite briefly here.